Howdy folks, welcome to Retsu Talk episode 56. We are doing this live on a late Saturday night. We are feeling a little bit saucy and thought about mixing things up a little bit. It's a family ep, as I like to call it. None of those garbage guests that we've been collecting, these so-called internet celebs trying to make ourselves look cool. No, it's just us, the people who really matter. Me and this other guy, Slowbeef.
Hi, how are you? Am I on Retsu Talk now?
You're on Retsu Talk. How's it feel?
It's going okay. It's all right. We're doing it live. I'm playing Volgar the Viking in the background because I can't pay attention to anything for any one thing for a few minutes.
Do you want to start with your feelings on this game since it's up here right now, front and center?
It's all right. It's good. It's really hard, and with a really hard game, sometimes you need something to break it up, like a new area or something optional or something, and that.
It's kind of samey so far.
Yeah, I've been stuck on the same area for like half an hour, more or less. So it's kind of like, all right, I've had a little much.
I've heard people talk up this game a lot. You're not feeling it?
It's not bad. It's it reminds me a lot of ActRaiser 2.
Isn't that like a spaceship game?
No,
it's not.
No, what's the matter?
I was thinking that up with
Fucking call yourself a video game podcaster?
I don't know. I'm editing that out.
No,
I'm confused.
That reminds me. Do you remember the time I was Let's Playing Metroid Prime and Cherry Doom did the Ridley voice, but she had meant to mute her microphone and do it to herself?
Yes, I do remember that.
And then she fucking deleted that audio. Jeez.
Never shared it with us.
Absolutely.
What if it was like the perfect impression?
I really don't remember.
Lost in time.
It was pretty funny, though.
It was.
So, Volgar the Viking, frankly, it's not very expensive or anything like that. It's just like, but if that's
your selling point for playing the game.
Yeah,
it doesn't cost much.
Well, no, I mean, if you're into like rock hard games, meaning they'll make you erect, you could do worse. That's my impression.
So that's a 7 out of 10 review right there, if I ever heard one.
No, it's pretty good, honestly. It's so hard that like I'm kind of banging my head against the same part over and over again, So
you've played Dark Souls, you're used to things that are hard.
Yeah, but Dark Souls, you can at least go to another area and try something new. Or, like, there's enough variety in the strategies you can employ,
Mm-hmm.
This is more like I just have to get my timing down,
I gotcha.
Yeah, so.
You could always move on to another game.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah, I could do that.
What other games are in your bucket list?
Psychonauts. Never played it.
That's a great game.
Lagoman got it for me.
Highly recommend that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot of fun.
I was installing it, actually, but I decided to play Volgar first.
Oh, you'll love Psychonauts.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't really know anything about it, so don't...
It is a game that has a lot of personality, and the gameplay itself is very fun.
Is that Tim Schafer? Because I played another one of his games from Lagoman showed me. It's his most recent one, the Kickstarter one. Broken Age, thank you, Lagoman.
Oh yeah, he did that too, right?
Yes.
How is Broken Age? You haven't played it, but you watched. Didn't you watch Lego Man play it?
I was on a stream with him. Basically, it was his stream, and I was kind of guesting on it, and he was showing me the game. It's very cool. It's an adventure game, It's very different. It's a little weird because I forget the exact numbers. I think he asked for something like. Or something ridiculous, like he asked for like $300,000 on the Kickstarter and got like 1.5 million.
Wow!
But then ran out of money making it.
Really?
And then I think he put it on Steam Greenlight or whatever, So,
thank God for social media.
Yeah, serious. So it looked really cool. I was interested in it. I couldn't hear the voice acting during the stream, but it is very good.
Elijah Wood, right?
Yep. Like I said, it's an adventure game. You kind of play as two different characters. I'm kind of interested to see.
Is it like a King's Questy sort of puzzle-solvey stuff?
So here's the thing. Yes, but it's more the LucasArts style than the Sierra style. So you don't get punished for trying things, and there's a lot of personality, and the puzzles are fairly clever. Like there's good stuff in Sierra games, but typically the things I described were not them.
I gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know. Sierra had their own weird adventure game design philosophy. They actually mocked LucasArts a couple times for theirs, which is
really?
Yeah, which is like Space Quest 4 like had a joke in there like they made fun of Loom. They're like, it's an adventure game you could never die in, so there's no dramatic tension whatsoever, you know? And it's
I like Loom.
Yeah, but they made fun of it, so now you have to hate them, because that's how
I remember Loom very fondly.
I like Loom a lot. That was a really cool game. It was, you were Bobbin Threadbare and
Bobbin Threadbare. Yeah, you had a little staff where you played the music and shit would happen.
Yeah, now
you could fling yourself in a tornado.
Yeah, you had to color some sheeps green so a dragon wouldn't eat them, I think.
Oh yeah, and you had to body switch with another guy to infiltrate a mine or something.
Yeah, that's right. Remember how violent the Rend spell was when they used it on a guy?
Oh yeah, they're like, you could tear dude, and like the dragon ate you body switched with the guy, and the dragon ate who she thought was Bobbin.
Right, yeah.
And then that guy turned into a ghost that tried to fuck with you or something.
Yeah, and it was like it got kind of dark at parts, which was interesting.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like surprisingly gory.
Yeah, but I liked it a lot.
It's really good tone going for it, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Which was also kind of goofy at times, too, because Bob was kind of like, oh, me, oh. Charming protagonist.
If we were really smart, that would be a great transition to talk about Ground Zeroes, because that's exactly the issues I've had with Ground Zeroes.
Because that was the follow-up with Loom, was Ground Zeroes, yeah.
No, tone and everything.
Yeah, tone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tone deaf!
Oh my god, what did you think of Ground Zeroes? You played it now.
At first, I was underwhelmed after I finished the main mission. You know, I'd heard everything. I rented it because I'd heard it's incredibly short, very beatable, and very little amount of time, not really worth buying, is what I heard, so I decided to rent it.
Yeah, same.
So I finished the main mission, kind of underwhelmed. I tried the main mission again. I think it took me a while to get into the gameplay aspect of it, because it departs very differently than what you might come to expect.
Yeah.
From the Metal Gear style of play.
Right.
And to be fair, a lot of that Metal Gear style is nowadays a bit obsolete, so I do think they did a good job at fixing some of those things, but once I started getting a feel for how important the infiltration side of the infiltrating is,
okay,
I started liking it a little bit more once I kind of got a feel for what I'm supposed to be doing and how they expect you to go about everything. And then the side missions open up, and some of those are pretty fun. They do pack a surprising amount of content in what appears to be not a whole lot of content in the first place.
Okay.
So, you know, the base is very small. You can get from A to B pretty quickly, but then it's raining one day, another mission it's sunlight, different elements are in play. So they do have a lot going on, but at the end of the day, it still is like a tech demo with some DLC attached to it. You can squeeze a lot of time out of it if you really, really like Metal Gear gameplay and you're a collectathon aficionado. You'll get a lot out of it. If you subscribe to Metal Gear for, I want to see what kind of crazy plot stuff Kojima comes up with this time, then you're probably going to feel ripped off.
Yeah, there's next to none of, well, there's next to none of that, or not as much as a normal Kojima thing, you know?
Right.
I have to admit, my first thought when I finished it was I would have been pissed off if I bought this. You know, It's very short. You know, I know Chip liked it. His thing was like, hey, you know, you got all the side, like, she's like, I don't know, I played it for 2 hours, I'm only 9% done, so it's not that short. But a lot of that's like the side missions, you know, which are...
And a lot of it is you complete it on normal now. Can you do this on hard difficulty?
Oh, yeah, I saw that too. That's right, yeah. So, I don't know. Again, maybe if you really like Metal Gear a lot, then you're kind of more willing to forgive it. I'm sort of a fair-weather Metal Gear fan.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
You know? I loved 3. I thought Snake Eater was awesome. That's my favorite. I think that was best in show.
I do think they did a good job with the infiltration tactics you had to use, like marking people with your binoculars. It's very immersive as far as that goes. And so as far as the tech demo side of it, it did make me intrigued for Phantom Pain. Is that funny? Is that funny? What, is this funny?
Ty Tuesday, who always has a graphic for everything, put an elephant in her room. So...
Yeah.
And also my game crashed, so... Wow. So, I guess we should... Well, should we get into the elephant in the room, or not really? I'll tell you this. Whatever I'm going to say about... I think whatever we could say about one scene in particular could be applied to all the horrible shit you've heard about this game. So, as an example, All right, you've heard there's like terrible stuff going on in the codec and things that happen to Paz and Chico, especially Paz. And before we like go down a dark road with like this sort of semi-lighthearted podcast, we'll just talk about one scene in particular because I think it applies anyway, which is
Yeah, this is something you can't help but see.
yeah, and it's just probably a spoiler, but you know it's something also that's kind of in all the media, you know.
Yeah, they get a kind of an odd thing with the marketing where they pretty much showed you the entire story of the game before it was even released.
More or less, yeah. So the issue basically is at the end of the level or what have you, or I'm sorry, the end of the game really. You've saved Paz, so she's on the helicopter with you and Chico and some doctor who we've never met and the Miller guy I never played.
Kaz.
Cease Walker. Yeah, thanks. So it turns out, oh no, Paz has these scars on her abdomen, and they're like, oh, she must have been implanted with a bomb. We're gonna have to perform invasive surgery on her right now.
What's anesthesia? Nah.
Nah, we don't have time for anesthesia or antiseptic or anything. And then she, like, screams once, which, it's like, you're cutting her the fuck open. Like, this is gonna be more painful than that, you know?
Right, she screams once as they play with her guts, but then you get kind of used to it.
It's like, oh, just hold her down, she'll be fine. And then they're like, digging around in her guts and shit. It's a pretty violent scene for a Metal Gear game.
It's like, keep her guts in.
But, like, and that's another, it's like, I know that, like, there's serious shit brought up in Metal Gear before, but this is pretty, brutal and out there, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's pretty fucked up.
Well, in the past games, they kind of more subtly approach it, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I guess with the stuff that Volgin does.
Yeah.
It's kind of like there's an undertone of what he does, but it's not explicitly stated like, he's such an asshole, he did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. I guess that's more or less the way to put it, right? Like, yeah, this time around, it's very explicit what Ghostface does, wait, no.
Ghostface.
What's his name? Skullface?
No, let's go with Ghostface. That'd be a better villain, I think.
Okay, sure, whatever.
He's just a floating hat and a coat. No one knows what he looks like.
Right. No, so fucking Skullface, I guess, implants a bomb in Kaz, and, Paz, and,
Paz.
They dig it out of her. It's a huge fucking bomb, too, can I mention? It's like this, it's like a big fucking thick book kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but...
It's like, yeah, where is that going exactly? But, alright. So it's really gruesome. And this is, the thing that kind of annoys me about that whole scene is, more shit happens, then at the very end, they're back on the helicopter with Paz, and she's awake now, and up and moving, even though she has pretty much functionally eviscerated or something. But,
well, look, they stitched her up, she's fine.
So, yeah, and then she's like, oh no, there's another bomb inside me, and then jumps out of the helicopter and explodes anyway.
She hasn't had a very good life.
I know, but it's like, well, then what the fuck? What's the point of this horrible scene where you dig the shit out of her stomach if she's just gonna die anyway? And it's like, that is kind of the definition of gratuitous, in a way, because there's absolutely no reason for the scene where you remove the bomb out of her abdomen and she just has a second one.
The reason for the scene is to show off the Fox engine.
Well, did we need all that? It's a beautiful game, okay? You got me. I don't need to see inside a girl to... That sounded weird.
Well, if you're married, you...
It's, yeah. So, and I tweeted this article from US Gamer that I thought was really good, but, and it kind of gets into the whole dilemma is Metal Gear, even if they're trying to move the series in a more serious direction, which I'm not really convinced that they are, or at least that Kojima's not doing it particularly well.
Well, you never know with him, do you?
Well, it's just, like, it is odd. Like, there is comical shit going on. Like, the fucking villain's name is Skullface, for God's sakes, you know?
Right.
It is very hard. Like, no matter how much you hate him and the things he does, that's pretty comic book villainy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, and then, like I said, you have a lot of baggage and stuff because, like, you do have, like, 4 games, really, like, 6 or 7, actually, or 8 or however many, like, full of, like, weird-ass shit in there, like cyborg ninjas and fat guys on rollerblades who set bombs and a guy made of bees, and it's like...
Let's throw some more shit in the middle of all that.
Yeah, and now it's like, but we're gonna be dark, so just forget the previous games a little bit if you could. We're gonna get serious now. I'm through joking around, and it's like, that's kind of hard for me to forget that you're through joking. You know what I mean?
I'm not convinced they are through joking around, though.
That's exactly it, too. Right?
I mean, you have a lot of goofy shit in the side missions as well. It's kind of relegated more to the side rather than,
right,
I'm in a box, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the gameplay
like where you actually save Hideo Kojima in one of the missions, for example.
Right, or you have Raiden, traveling through time to kill Snatchers in the Xbox version.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Yeah, I get it. It's just that,
what took you so long?
It's like, you remember Metal Gear Solid 1? So, you beat Revolver Ocelot, and you save President of Arms Tech, Kenneth Baker, and he goes on a big diatribe about nuclear disarmament after the Cold War, and kind of the sorry state of the...
Take a look at this stock footage, Snake.
Yeah, and they have live footage, and Hideo Kojima is kind of saying to you, hey, listen, this is, a real thing that is going on in the world that you should be concerned about. By the way, 5 seconds ago, yeah, Cyborg Ninja cut off a cowboy's hand. You know what I mean? How do you get to have your cake and eat it too like that? But people are kind of cool with Kojima, so they're like, oh, no, that's just the way he does things, So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, it sounds like you're just kind of you're kind of over the whole Metal Gear thing.
It's not that. I didn't mind Snake Eater because Snake Eater's kind of like a spy thriller,
It kind of stands alone.
Yeah, pretty much. And I didn't mind Solid 1, but Sons of Liberty, I wasn't feeling so much. I know a lot of people liked it a lot. And
a lot of people think the ending of Sons of Liberty is genius, is Kojima's finest work.
Yeah,
I'm not in that camp myself, but I mean, people think that.
Sure. And I was okay with Guns of the Patriots for the most part, but...
I was mixed at best on that.
Well, Act 4 I thought was great. I think they should have ended the game on Act 4, frankly. But, obviously you'd have to rework some of it. It doesn't work on its own completely. But, just the whole... After you do the horrible well... I didn't think it was that bad, but, the Shadow Moses level that nobody liked. But then you actually finally get to drive Metal Gear Rex, which was kind of a cool, fanish kind of moment,
Yeah. I mean, most of Metal Gear Solid 4 was a love letter to fans in the first place. And it was supposed to be the send-off, but then it wasn't.
Right, yeah. Well, that actually annoyed me the most, was that it was supposed to be the end of the story, well, at least of Solid Snake.
The end of Solid Snake, yeah.
Right, and it's kind of cheap when you're I'm killing off this character, but don't worry, I got another one just like him. It's well, alright, if you say so, but then, I don't know.
That big boss, that was the former president of the United States. Don't worry about it.
Genetic copy, different voice. I don't understand it either.
The perfect copy.
Can I just say, too, that's one thing I never understood, by the way, about Metal Gear Solid 1. You know how Liquid Snake is, your clone or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
So, Liquid Snake is your clone, and at the beginning of the game, when they pick up Snake from Alaska in the intro, he's like, I better shave my head. I don't want to be mistaken for the leader of the enemy troops. Yes, you do! That's exactly what you would want. That would make your mission so much fucking easier.
But, he's got the gravelly voice. He'd give himself away too easily.
Yeah, sure, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of fucking super spy is he, then? Alright, whatever. Anyway.
He has a box.
Well, that's what smoking will do to you, I'm sure he sounded exactly like Liquid, who was then later Ocelot somehow.
Now, you never played Peace Walker, right?
Nah. Heard it's very good.
Yeah, at the beginning of Ground Zeroes, they do give you an 11-page recap of the events of Peace Walker.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, I think you really need to play Peace Walker to appreciate the context of Ground Zeroes and what they're setting up for, what I imagine what they're setting up for Phantom Pain as well.
Right. Yeah,
if you read all that, you'll be like, so why is pause important again? You might be a little confused going into it.
Well, I read the Wikipedia, basically, on Peace Walker,
Mm-hmm.
So I do know the general idea of it. Yeah, so I do kind of know what it is going in. I would like to play Peace Walker just to see what I missed out on, because I've heard it's actually...
It is really fun. It's a fun little base building thing.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I know. Since when did Big Boss not have an arm?
Not have an arm.
Yeah, I don't...
that's to be determined, I believe.
But I don't remember that happening in Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake or Metal Gear 1, which didn't have a subtitle.
He had 2 completely normal arms in Metal Gear 1 and 2?
Yeah.
He did?
He's holding a machine gun in 2. I mean, it's not impossible for him to do the things he did in Metal Gear 1 and 2 with, both aren't. It's just like, I just don't remember that ever happening or being a thing until now.
Well, maybe he will have the hook hand, and then at the end of Phantom Pain, they'll restore his arm, and it'll all fit canonically.
Somebody is saying that in Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Big Boss is a cyborg, which I do not remember ever being mentioned, honestly, but that could be an optional walkie-talkie message I never saw or something.
Well, you thought Snake thought he killed Big Boss at the end of Metal Gear 1, right?
Yeah.
But then
he suddenly
was it ever explained he was just there?
Yeah, I thought he was just there, honestly. They're big on explaining everything but the stuff you need, I find. But
props to them for trying to neatly thread this mess of a story they've created over several decades.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like it is absolutely untrue that this was all planned. You know, yeah. I mean, that is crazy.
No, since Metal Gear 1.
But if there is anyone listening who buys into that, I will just say Metal Gear Solid 2 is I'm not even kidding about this, inspired by Napster. Like, that is where Kojima got the idea, according to an interview, for, like, the whole information, like Arsenal Gear controlling information and the Patriots filtering it and things like that.
File sharing is like nuclear deterrence.
Right, more or less. So, that, that part was invented, like, later after the other Metal Gears were written, so, and, out. Just FYI. Take that, fucking fanboys! No, I do like the games. It's just like, previously it's just like, I can't take the story that seriously. You know what I mean? Because it's some of it's just like Crazy Town.
I don't think you're ever meant to. It's just hard to tell in Ground Zeroes if they still feel that way.
No, see, though, I would argue, though, you are meant to in some way. Like, that, like, the thing they talk about in Metal Gear Solid 1 with the whole nukes and everything with Kenneth Baker that I mentioned.
6 degrees. Yeah.
No, that's all, like, real shit you should be concerned with, Like, so, that's the thing, it's like, that's where I'm getting at, like, well, so what? I don't know. But yeah.
What do you think, chat?
I have Scissors 61.
Are we wasting everyone's time?
Basically, we are.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Don't buy Ground Zeroes, is the point.
Yeah, if you really like the gameplay of Metal Gear, rent Ground Zeroes.
More or less.
There you go.
Yeah.
If you're a real collect nut, I don't know, maybe sink 10 to 15 hours into it, if you're dedicated.
It's a very hard recommend as far as a buy is concerned. Like, if
it did make me intrigued for what they will do with Phantom Pain.
Right.
Using that gameplay in a larger setting. Or over varied settings.
Yeah. I could not buy Kiefer Sutherland as Snake, though.
See, he didn't really say much.
No, but when he did, it doesn't sound like any,
Yeah, it is like, huh?
Yeah.
Just because of what you expect from having played a Snake for all these years, but he just doesn't say much. It's like they had him in the recording studio for all of 20 minutes.
Well, it's interesting because, like, he is sort of the Jack Bauer character. Oh, that's a show that's coming back, too, by the way.
The Jack Bauer show?
Yeah, 24. It's actually a talk show with that guy. He interrogates.
He has 24 hours to put on a show.
Right, he has to
entertain late night audiences.
He tortures his guests, pretty much. Just kind of what I do on my streams.
Kiefer, they willingly came forward with their plugs for their new project. Don't torture it out of them.
Tell me what your movie is!
We'll be right back with more of the Jack Bauer show. And then pause explodes.
God, that was so stupid. What else is there? What else have we been playing?
Well, we haven't podcasted in a while, so there's droves of content to cover.
Oh, this is true.
I know people are tired of us talking about Dark Souls. I know we've done that ad nauseum.
So let's not.
But I will say, Dark Souls 2, like it, played it, great. Has some minor flaws here and there, same as Dark Souls 1. I'll get it on PC. Recommended.
Playing it, liking it. There you have it. Yeah. I pretty much agree with most of the reviews. I do like the landscape of Souls 1 better, Dark Souls 1, but all in all, I like it a lot. All right. Hold on, we're getting people who are like just no more Dark Souls 2.
Okay.
So we'll stop. But now, yeah.
I'll edit all this out.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything we can tell you haven't read in a review, more or less.
There you go.
Yeah. So we'll just leave it there.
Okay.
We did stop.
Now here are all the bosses. Yeah.
Here is the story. I still don't know. By the way, Dark Souls 1 is one of a couple of games that I've played, and I have no idea what I did or why I did it. Honestly. The only other game like that was Devil May Cry 2, and I felt kind of disgusted with Devil May Cry 2. Not so much with Dark Souls.
Disgusted?
Yeah, Devil May Cry 2, I feel like I don't know what I did or why I did it, and I felt like it was because of the ineptness of the writing. Which for a fucking Devil May Cry game, I think is saying a lot, because you don't ask for much in a story.
Never played those games.
They're fun, honestly. I like them. I haven't played the remake. I watched an LP of it, and it seemed kind of interesting, but I know a lot of people didn't like it.
It needed a remake?
Yeah, that's part of the controversy.
How old are the games?
They're not old, is the thing. I don't know exactly why it needed a remake, but there's a remake.
What are your thoughts on the... I'm sorry, I'm steering wildly, but Binding of Isaac remake?
I'm cool with that. It's pretty much a sequel, right?
I'm pumped up about it, but I don't really know why.
You don't know why you're pumped up about it?
No, because, I mean, I've played the first one to death. I know there's going to be some new content, but I don't know. I'm just excited for it.
I'll play it. I don't know if I'm excited for it, you know.
I just really like it.
I'm sure Northern Lion will be very happy because now he can make 300,000 more videos about it, even though he was going to anyway. So maybe he wasn't excited about that after all.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested to play. It's going to be like an SNES known, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the graphical style. It'll give him fewer limitations than Flash did, is my understanding.
Good. Because
apparently he was very unhappy with kind of the final product at the end of the day, which kind of surprised me.
That is interesting. Because I thought everything was totally fine. Mm-hmm. But I guess not.
Less room for like random slowdown and all that stuff.
Gotcha, yeah. Well, Isaac, yeah, I hear you with that stuff. I heard actually Ty Tuesday was telling me earlier in the stream about a game called Beat Hazard, which is really cool. Apparently, it's like a shoot 'em up kind of game that goes.
It's a masturbation game where things get in your way.
No, it's a game that actually comes with a lot of seizure warnings. Because it's very, very, if you're photosensitive, apparently it will give you a headache, according to him.
Oh, I've played Beat Hazard. Yeah, that's fun.
Isn't it initially like a shoot 'em up that you pick the music to?
Yeah, you put your own music over it, and then you have to blow shit up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great game. I got a good bit out of that.
Yeah, same here. I gotta try that. Was it on Steam? Is that what the kids are doing nowadays?
It's all on Steam. Gotcha. A lot of people are saying Steam is garbage lately. Is it because of Greenlight?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people don't like the Greenlight thing, which I can't really blame them, honestly.
Mm. Like, I don't follow that too closely.
Well, it's kind of like, Steam Greenlight, like the concept.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Some of the games apparently you can get on there are really, really, really bad and like not finished at all,
Mm.
To the point where like it's making the whole Greenlight thing look like a terrible idea.
So it's like bringing Steam down with it?
More or less, yeah.
People feel, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of weird thing about it, right? Because it's like, it is a sort of notion of, hey, do you want to buy our product? It's not finished yet, and it may never be, actually. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, no, I don't know why I would want to do that.
So it's like you can put your demo up there and then just not do anything else with it?
You can put your demo there and not do anything else with it. Yeah, I guess you could. Like, it's like Kickstarter in a way. There's nothing like, forcing you to do it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, so like...
would that be a good source of Red Supre material?
It could be, actually.
Is it the new Newgrounds?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. Some of this stuff I feel like is weird. Like, I think I like the idea behind Kickstarter, and I think it's smart. But part of me also feels like Kickstarter is a giant scam.
Okay. Why don't so that kind of transitions into the next topic.
All right, go for it.
So, Oculus Rift came from Kickstarter.
Was
brought to life thanks to Kickstarter. And then was recently purchased by Facebook. And that got a lot of people angry. Yeah.
All right, well, let me start that without... Well, I have a theory, but go ahead. Do you have any insight into that? Anything you want to say?
I think my insight is the last thing people would be interested in, but I kind of get why, like the theory behind why people are not pleased about that because of the philosophy of Kickstarter, or the perceived philosophy of it, which is like people thinking that they are producers of content for having donated to it, when that's not really true
at all.
At all.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And then that vision quickly gets, expunged when, corporate entity comes into play and purchases it. And suddenly it's like, but I thought I made this possible, and now it's not going to be what I wanted it to be, having donated to the vision of it.
So the reason before I said I like the idea of Kickstarter, and I think it is a good thing, but feels like a scam to me, is Kickstarter is kind of like capital investment where you get nothing.
Right. Yeah. The idea is that the reward is you're helping make this thing that this other person envisioned come true, but you don't get input into it.
You don't get any.
You don't get any input into it.
Right. That's the problem.
Like, you get it's very specific what you get, in fact, depending on what tier you donate to.
Right.
This is what you get, and the satisfaction of knowing that you helped bring this thing about. The end. Bye. So it's like you give money and think, well, I hope that happens.
Yeah. Real deal investors get a say because they have a return on investment that they're expecting,
Oh, yeah.
Like I give you $100,000, I expect to make 150 in 10 years. So I'm going to advise you on how to drive the product so I can make sure I damn well get my investment,
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like, you gave me $60, thanks, take it easy. Financially, it's a pretty bad investment because you don't get anything out of it. There's not.
And also, actual investors tend to give more than 20, 50, even $100.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm not naive. Like, I understand the whole point is you like the product enough that you're willing to sort of prepay for it or things like that, But yeah, there is this notion of like, hey, I paid for I invested in the Oculus Rift, now it got bought, what the heck? And it's like, sorry, you didn't get a return. That wasn't part of this deal,
Right. And what I also think the other thing is people just don't trust Facebook. And they think there's going to be like this, like the Oculus Rift is going to be blue with thumbs up symbols all around it.
It's a funny story.
That kind of thing.
Do you use Instagram?
No.
Do you know anybody who does?
No.
Do you know that it's owned by Facebook?
I do. I do know that.
And it was bought by them?
Yeah, but is it not true that it hasn't really changed as a result of that?
No, it hasn't.
Like, it's still just pictures. There's no log into your Facebook account to use Instagram. Nothing like that.
There may be, but if there were, it wouldn't be totally inappropriate.
Right.
The thing about the Oculus Rift, though, is it doesn't make any sense whatsoever for Facebook to change it. It really hurts them, Like, this, again, and I kind of talked about this, what I thought of the Disney buying Maker thing. Well, that's more appropriate. This, to me, is just, it's just an acquisition. It's like, Zuckerberg's like, I think this thing's going to make a lot of money, so
we want in on that, yeah.
I want that revenue stream, yeah. I'll buy it off you. I'll give you a lot off front. No, just do what you're doing and give me the money.
And not even on an immediate basis, but several years from now, maybe it'll start to make a profit that we'll start to see.
Exactly right, yeah. Like, Facebook has the big corporate kind of, they'll survive the long run. They don't need the money right away, so they'll operate in the red for a while, and then, they won't. Meanwhile, the guys who made the Rift get a bunch of money to invest in whatever new business they want. So I think, honestly...
So then the argument there is, was Kickstarter ever necessary?
Well, there's some crazy things about it, too, where people are like, well, what if people run ads on the games? It's like, yeah, the Oculus Rift had no control over that ever. That's a game thing. You know what I mean? If people want to put ads in their PS4 games, they can. Nothing stops, you know what I mean?
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's like, so, I don't know. It's like, sorry, I'm reading chat too at the same time, and it's tough to do it or whatever. So my point is, a lot of this stuff where people are like, what if Facebook does X or Y or Z? It wouldn't make sense for them to. Why would they ruin a product they just bought?
That would interfere with its development, which would be contrary to their interest of making money from it.
Exactly. And Facebook games are not in the same market as Oculus Rift games. You're not going to convince your mom playing Farmville to put on a fucking 3D.
Well, actually, Farmville is going to be the only game you can play on Oculus Rift. That's part of the agreement.
Well, frankly, it's probably the only game that would be good on Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
No. I saw actually a really
you move
cool,
your eyes and the cows. I've never played Farmville. I don't know how it works.
I saw a really cool Oculus Rift game somebody tweeted. It was called like Don't Stop Talking or the Bomb Explodes, where like the guy holding the Rift is like defusing a bomb, but it's like a party game, like people in like without the Rift are trying to read these weird blueprints with complicated instructions out to them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Are you... I know VR has been like a thing that's been thought about like way, way far away ago.
Right.
And then it feels like it gets kind of forgotten about, then it gets brought up again. Are people really excited for it?
VR?
Yeah. It just seems it's in the same, for me, it's in the same camp as like 3D technology, in that I don't think it's great.
Oh, 3D like movies and things like
3D movie, I kind of put it in a similar kind of boat, and I've never been interested in the VR thing. Is it that time to change now with Oculus Rift and all?
It's a shame I actually had the opportunity to wear the Oculus Rift, and I did not, so I have no great insight. No, I played a VR game once when I was younger. It was, I forget the name of it exactly. It was like something, it was at a really weird name, like Phoenix Labyrinth or some crap. But you wear the helmet, you turn around, you're in like a ring, you're pointing a gun, you're trying to shoot another player. It was basically a first person shooter, but very low polygon, no texture or anything. And the head tracking had a lag to it, so it's really tricky to get your bearings. It didn't make you nauseous, and it was a cool kind of idea,
All right.
But like, I don't know. Nothing that made me say like, oh my God, this is the future. It was like, oh, that's neat. Thanks.
Right.
So the Rift, well, first of all, like, there's other issues with the Rift, I'm sure. Like, you're wearing a fairly...
Yeah, is that heavy?
It must be, right? Like, it can't be light. It's 2 fucking screens that are on your face, Not like so heavy, of course, that you're going to hurt your neck or something. But I mean, I have to imagine after half an hour with it, you're like, I can't do this anymore. It's, and also like just having something on your face for very long. Sorry, excuse me. It is 1 screen. I'm sorry about that. But Ty Tuesday said he's hearing it is pretty light, so never mind that then.
And you look awesome wearing it. It's really more of a fashion thing than a gaming system.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't talk out of my ass on this one. It could be the most comfortable thing in the world. I don't know. I think it's one of those things that could be a lot of fun, but I don't see taking over.
Not like getting in too much on mainstream gaming.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
kind of like a side thing.
Pretty much, yeah. I think it's like a fun thing, and I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know of any must-have games with it yet, where it's like, holy shit, this is so much different with a Rift, and you got to try it. But
I remember Zuckerberg saying something like he could envision really cool things for the Oculus Rift outside of gaming, like virtual classroom type stuff, where you're more immersed in the learning environment, I suppose.
If you say so.
Yeah.
I don't. It's like one of those, like, yeah, I guess. I don't really see that, though, I mean, at that point, I don't know what it buys you just not to have it on a screen, really,
Right, yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah. Yeah.
I got a computer, I'm good.
I don't know. You have to keep in mind, too, though, I play a lot of 2D games, which don't quite work as well with the Oculus Rift.
You don't think Volgar the Viking is playable in Oculus Rift?
I'm playing it right now, and I'm just like, yeah, I could see it. No, so I don't know. But at any rate, I don't think Facebook buying it means absolutely anything for the Oculus Rift.
I don't see much reason to cry Armageddon.
Right. Same with Disney and Maker. Like I mean, we joke about, oh, now you can only LP Kingdom Hearts and shit like that. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to do too much.
Yeah, they're not going to touch LP channels.
No, they're going to add to things if anything, but I don't see any big changes coming that way.
Now, that being said, if you'd like to buy out Retsupre, then we are open to your offers.
That's true. Yeah. Please. Please buy out Retsupre.
Pixar. Looking at you.
Can I just say one thing that's really annoying when you're playing a 2D game and you're jumping on a platform below you? The fucking Steam notification blocking where you're jumping is,
Well, so if you gotta turn off Steam notifications during your games.
I guess I do.
Come on, man.
Oh, well. So, yeah. what else do we have to talk about? Do you want to talk about some of the RPs we've been doing?
Sure, we've started up several. We've been on a long play kick lately.
This is very true.
The one we've been most into is Shadow of Destiny, and I think
I love Shadow of Destiny more than anything.
I am fascinated by the game.
I am too.
Just because I want to know what convoluted logic is coming up next. Because they somehow keep defying my expectations.
I didn't mention this while we were recording, but I did mention it before. So, like with YouTube comments now, there's like comments marked as spam that you can go individually or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
56 comments marked as spam. They were mostly one guy who was telling us like why the game actually makes sense.
Does he know how time travel is supposed to work?
Yeah, apparently the long player is skipping some stuff, which is a shame because there's some really funny shit in there.
Yeah, it does feel like he's going through the game really fast.
Yeah, and Ike, who recommended the game to us, apparently she wants to do a Let's Play of it. So I hope she
Ike,
shows
the
it.
screen name, not the main character of the game.
Yeah, sorry.
Same thing.
Yeah. So there's like a thing though, like at the beginning of the game, you're not allowed to walk through town, too often. So they need something to gate you, so you don't like go in areas you're not supposed to as a player. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's like a Doberman that kind of follows you around.
Really?
Like, if you go down the street, it just starts barking at you, and I can't get past it.
He just runs away.
Yeah. And it's like the same, and then there's like a lot of streets with that Doberman, apparently.
He gets around.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat mentioned, says too, Shadow of Destiny is far from a train wreck, and it's like, I don't know if I'd call it a train wreck as a game. It is interesting, certainly.
It's not a train wreck, it's just pretty silly.
Yeah, I mean, it's out of its mind.
Yeah.
You cannot contend this is, going to be...
I really like it, but probably not for the reasons the makers of the game wanted me to like it.
Yeah, if it gets serious at the end, and there's, a big plot twist, I'm going to be like, this is still the game where I did time traveling for a frying pan?
Don't pull a Ground Zeroes on me.
Yeah, basically, no, but, It just I can't get around the fact that my character is in actuality stupid,
He did abandon that waitress.
Right.
Completely.
But he has all these problems that only the foreknowledge really helps him with, but he decides to incorporate the rest of time travel anyway. Kind of just cause,
He just keep bringing up stuff and then forgetting about it, when he was talking to his ancestor, you should probably forget about me, and then, literally seconds later.
Yeah.
I'll come back sometime.
Yeah, see you soon. No, what? Oh, I haven't posted part 3 yet, so I split it up, so...
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, but
leave the rest of that for...
It's okay, you'll see. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I don't, see it working. And then there's some things that are not internally consistent with the game itself. Which could have been a cool thing, and I posted the juggler, so it's Ike throws himself a note at 2 p.m. to get a frying pan in time for 7 p.m., but we never did that as the game character. Right,
so the game is not entirely consistent with its own vision of what time travel logic is.
But it could have been cool, right, if, the juggler threw you, a thing at 2 p.m. and you're like, what the fuck is this? And you're like, oh, that's me. And then at least Ike would have the excuse, too. He has to do that to keep time consistent. But as it stands now, it's just a dumb fuck theory that he came up with, which doesn't, is completely stupid.
Right.
It's yeah. And wait, even so, at least then you can say, well, he had to keep time consistent. Because as it stands now, too, why do you need time travel to get a frying pan?
Yeah, I was going to say, guy who's defending the game, is that the only way he can get a frying pan?
That's the thing, too.
In all of time and space.
That's the thing, because, no matter... Yeah. There are certain things, I guess, oh, well, he goes back to 1979. Well, okay, one of the crazy things, too, that was defended was, he manages to save himself from the vase by having a different conversation with, what's his name, Wagner, I think? The museum guy with the cats,
They say Wagner, but shouldn't it be Wagner?
It absolutely should be.
Okay.
But regardless, so you can say, okay, well, he went back to 1979 to get some knowledge, and that's why he had that conversation with the guy. But it's yeah, but if it's his friend and he knows the vase is there, there's like 1,000 ways to do this that don't involve time travel. You know it's coming. Just
I need to go back and know to bring up his the family member.
It's just great though. I love it.
And I love watching it.
I have to I'm hoping it tops itself because I didn't think anything could top the fucking tree from the 14th the 400 years ago. But then fucking throw myself a note rules for a frying pan. For God's sakes. Yes. I Kush, ultimate time traveler.
The brightest mind in all of security is himself.
Yeah. Then we also did an episode of Amazon, which is on hold because I have to find out what the hell happens to Shadows of Destiny.
And that's a game you did a screenshot LP of quite a long time ago.
That's right, and it was a complete failure. Absolutely failure.
And why do you say that?
I don't know. It's one of those things where I thought it was hilarious, but not a ton of people agreed. I can't figure it out, so someone was like, you should do a video Let's Play, see what happens there. And I'm like, well, I'm too lazy for that, so let's just do the other compromise. And Oh, by the way, just because I saw somebody mention this once, we're not just taking Cubex's stuff without his permission. We have, like, an agreement with him, basically.
Oh, yeah, he said, like, yeah, you can use anything on our channel, just please give us a shout-out or whatever it was at the beginning, and a little notation in the description.
Yeah, no, he absolutely lets us do that. So it's not completely lazy Let's Play. Just kind of.
It's still pretty lazy.
Oh no, absolutely. Just not completely. Ain't 90%.
We outsource most of what we do.
Actually,
we add nothing to the mix, really.
This is scripted. What we're reading.
You
would
laugh at Shadow of Destiny without us saying anything about it, probably.
That's the best. Well, okay, I think that was part of it too, right? Is it funny because we're laughing?
Just the sounds of us being giggly?
Yeah, do you think that adds anything? Because I know a guy on the internet who does.
Like a laugh track kind of thing.
That's my transition. Total Biscuit had a tiny bit of controversy today.
It's the silliest thing.
It really is a silly thing.
I mean, say what you will about Total Biscuit or whatever. It's the most unnecessary thing I've ever heard for video editing.
It's so he was at GameVid Expo in Atlanta.
I should have gone to that.
You should have. He did a Q&A panel. But apparently they didn't mic up the audience really, so you can't hear any of their reaction.
Apparently there was a lot of hilarity said up on the panel.
So he added a laugh track. But
I mean, I'm sorry, are we talking like sitcom style laugh tracks?
I only skipped around it when I first saw you uploaded it,
It's like, ladies and gentlemen, Total Biscuit, and then they played the audience's reaction when Bruce Willis shows up on Friends. That kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I don't know. His thing on Twitter, which was like, I don't know, I thought it was funny to add a laugh track. You couldn't hear the audience anyway. But then he got a lot of dislikes, so he's like, all right, fine, we'll upload the original version. Whatever.
I mean, it's just bizarre.
I guess to be fair, maybe it is fucked up if you, hear somebody tell a joke and you can't hear any reaction
Or if it's
whatsoever.
the thing that you say, like, I think this deserves a laugh track. I earned this one. I think I produced some lulls that were perhaps not heard. So a little post-production will maybe fix that.
How do you make that determination? That's funny enough to make 300 people laugh. Why not?
Maybe he took notes of when he saw somebody giggle in the front row. I bet that was the sound of thousands.
It's pretty funny. I don't know. So we had an idea for a video of it, so hopefully you'll see that. But if it ends up not making the channel, we'll just tell you the idea, which will be a lot funnier. Or we'll add the laugh track such as it is. No, but I mean, it's an interesting sort of thing though, because one of the complaints I got back in the day about Retsu Prey was according to the complaint, we laugh at our own jokes, which I don't think is actually true. I think we're laughing at each other, really, more than, I'm not that arrogant yet.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, geez. Whoa, hey. Not bad.
Hey.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like actually there might be something to all that. Laugh tracks must exist for a reason, right? There's some inherent...
I thought they kind of fell out of favor after a while. I mean, they're still used to some extent, but
But I mean, they had to like start for a reason. You know what I mean? Like nobody was just like,
You
we
think
better
once
ask.
the audience for the live audience was not mic'd up, and then
Well, I mean, but even so, like, why have a live studio audience to begin with? Right?
sure.
Like, what I'm saying is, I'm wondering
So
if it kind of
in the future,
follows
we need to
from-
have Skype calls with 10 people listening to us when we do Red Supre and rely on their laughter input.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
No, but I'm wondering if there is something like sort of, it's like a cheat code in a way, where it's like communal, like a communal kind of thing. Like, you typically,
This is funny. It's okay to laugh here. See? Other people are doing it.
well, correct me if I'm wrong, this might be me. Something has to be really fucking funny to make you laugh by yourself. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're with like a group of people and people start laughing, it is easier to get into a joke like that. You know what I mean? And it's still funny or whatever, but
Sure,
I mean,
that's some sociological shit.
right. But typically when you're by yourself, you'll kind of like chuckle or smile or something, but you don't actually get into a full like kind of thing. So I'm wondering if there is, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Well,
is there
you,
like
sir, haven't seen some of the hot Let's Plays that I have.
All right, there is that, right.
I was ROTFL,
Don't worry about all that.
rolling on floor, then laughing. Yeah.
I think actually isn't that like the Army Corps, like the ROTC? Is what you're talking about? Or
Yes, yes.
got it.
I had to join that before I was able to authorize to laugh.
I understand. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not excusing it. It's still fucking funny to me, but I'm just saying, like, maybe that is sort of a thing. I don't know. Honestly. You know, it is also possible, too, the audience just booed the shit out of him whenever he told a joke, and this is his way of covering it up. Which I could see happening. No,
On Total Biscuit, we'll see about that.
WTF am I doing trying to be funny? That is... How
Wait, was he the only person on the panel?
Yes, he was. I mean, it's Game Vid Expo. Who are you gonna get?
I don't know what Game Vid Expo is.
Me neither.
They're just making up con names at this point.
He's not going to PAX or RTX, but
Good.
that's my transition. No,
Let me add a laugh track on that.
Dad, please do.
Let me add a whoa track to it. We got you, Biscuit.
What was I saying? No, yeah, so PAX and RTX are coming up pretty soon.
Yep, we're going to both.
We are, and can I tell them about the email we got about RTX?
Sure.
All right. So we have a panel. It's pretty much definite for RTX. But apparently Mike and Ray hooked us up, and the terms. This is great. Special celebrity guests was thrown around.
Yes, we get to register for a pass. Make us special guests.
That was awesome.
Special celebrity guest.
They have no idea that we're no one. It's great. I feel like I'm in one of the movies, those movies where the guy like puts on a lab coat and has to pretend to be a doctor. It's awesome. Yes, and I agree with Billiam. We are special. That part at least
Yes.
works, but you know. That's great though. Thank you, fucking YouTube.
I was like, do you know who you're messaging?
Right. So this is basically the peak of Ret Supre we're talking about
Right.
now, right? I mean,
I don't think we're ever going to a con after this.
No.
After we likely embarrass ourselves with whatever panel it is we're doing, which we have not remotely planned out yet.
I wanna give you my ultimate business goal with Ret Supre, okay, which I've never told anyone.
Okay. Be bought out by Facebook?
No, it is, yes. It is quote unquote, take this as far as it goes. I don't even know what that means or entails, but I have the feeling this is about it.
Yeah.
You know? It's not gonna get higher than that.
Sounds about right.
Unless we start doing scare cams, because that is where the money
That's where you get the hot shit.
is. More or less.
Like, what if I have a scare cam, but I don't position it very well, so all you see is my, like, bulging erection
No, you see, you
while
gotta
I'm playing whatever I'm playing.
keep comedy gold like that for our RTX special celebrity guest
I'm
panel.
sorry I'm spoiling the jokes.
Oh god, when is it sweeps week? We got to worry about shit like that.
Sweeps
Right. That said, PAX rejected us, so fuck them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm shocked I'm even going. I might as well just hawk my tickets right now.
Yeah. I think we're using PAX more as an excuse just to hang out with people we like, who are
Yeah,
also
exactly.
going,
Yeah.
and talk
Totally.
about video games and Let's Play. Talk shop.
You absolutely can't do that online. Is the
No.
thing. No. No, it'll be fun. We're hanging out with Zealous, Turbo C.
Psych is going, Voice
Psych.
Dog.
Ragni.
Ragni, all kinds of folks.
I think that's it, actually.
All kinds of folks.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We hang out, play video games, just like we do online, except,
Yeah, we can play the first to die in Dark Souls live.
Whoa, hey now.
What?
That would be crazy. How would we do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'd have to get like 3 consoles next to each other or something.
Really, we'll just play the games we stream, and then it'll just be like any other.
I'm gonna bring my Elgato, and we'll just basically do work, quote unquote, there.
There you go.
Exactly, yeah. And that's how we get around. We can't put Let's Play on Retsupre loopholes.
Booyah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So, but PAX is what, April 11th, I think.
April 11th through 13th. Yeah.
That's right.
Traveling in on the 10th. So if you're going to be there, come say hey.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be floating around.
Is anybody in chat going to PAX or whatever? No, never mind. Okay. No. Someone is saying, I'm surprised that Beef and Beatus didn't get follow Lotax and get Mike Nelson to do a riff with us. Let me just say this, okay? Mm-hmm. Special celebrity guests. That title is totally fake, okay? We have no pull or anything. That's not gonna happen, I'm afraid. I mean, maybe if it does happen though, that happens because of Lotax. And
I think all Lotax did was just send him a message out of the blue, said, "Hey, you want to do a thing?" and he said yes. So apparently it was easy.
Yeah, so maybe we should add Mike Nelson and then watch him outshine us. So forget it.
Just let him do the thing for us, and we'll just be very quiet.
Yeah. How would you feel, Mike, how would you feel if we, let's say, stole your idea and applied it to Let's Play? Please guest with us. No.
And we don't pre-write anything we say.
Right, yeah. And not even fun. We mostly let the game do the laughter for us.
Yeah, we're pretty much add nothing. You in on that? Yeah?
Right. He's like, what, do you just laugh at each other the whole time? And I'm like, well, it psychologically influences the viewer. Let's take a look at this Total Biscuit video.
Yeah, there you go.
But, let's see. We're getting some suggestions. Future guests on Retsu Talk and things like that.
Here's what I want to ask.
Yeah.
Do people prefer Retsu Talk when we bring in somebody and talk shop with them? Or just you and me shooting the shit like brothers?
What if it could be something else? Maybe we could have
neither of us in the podcast.
Yeah, and
have our guests do all the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, it's just a Northern Lion video, for example.
Yeah, I mean, doing all this talking is a lot of work. Like the art we produce,
Right.
Our copyright, it's hard work.
No, I know.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand.
Don't steal it.
Don't steal it, right?
Yeah, thank you.
I know what we could do. We'll have 2 podcasts a week, one with a guest, one without. Cut and print. No. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Okay.
We should do more of a D&D type stuff.
I really do want to do that, actually. I really was a big fan
Ironicus had some other types of games, types of role-playing, he suggested.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. They're doing a Let's Play panel at a different convention.
That's C2E2, right?
Yeah, C2E2. Ironicus, Chip, Tortoise on Tour, and Voidburger, I think, are all doing one together.
That's right, yeah. That should be interesting.
I think that's right after PAX, I want to say, in Chicago.
Yeah, it's like late April. And then what's good about that, too, is...
And Geop, too, someone in the chat noted.
Fuck Geop. We can... Oh, God, they're the mods now, aren't they?
Watch it.
No, I don't care about that, but I mean, I was just sort of sad because it's like my reign really did end.
No.
It feels real now.
You're still moderating this chat, Slow Beef. It's okay.
Something. Small consolation prize! No,
But I would like to hear how their panel goes to help us maybe prepare for ours in the summer.
Can they just give us a slide? The PowerPoint deck is what I'm hoping for. No,
Will this be archived on a webcast?
I don't know if it'll be archived. I kind of hope so, because I am interested to see what they say and stuff, so I can steal it. No,
we could invite them on, or, we should let them do a guest podcast, actually, like they did last year. Or Chip and Ironicus did one last year. If they want to use our space to Do that again, yeah.
Make the content for us. I mean, lend them this thing.
Give us a break. I mean, tell us your experience.
Because we do need a break from this harrowing fucking job.
It's really hard work watching you play Volgar the Viking and talking about nothing in particular.
Are you watching it still?
Yeah.
Wow, I suck at this game, huh?
Well, I need something to look at while I'm...
Well, what do we usually... Do you play video games when we usually podcast?
No, usually I just stare at the Audacity graph.
Actually, I do too. And I look at the time and say, oh, I got about 10 minutes left.
Or I look at it and be like, am I talking too loud right now?
My graph's all over the place.
I'm the most boring person alive.
More or less.
How's it go?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Someone said this should be in the YouTube version of the podcast. Whoa. I wonder if it should. I wonder if this will be like a much, like, I don't know, like more liked and subscribed podcast if we end up just like putting Volgar the Viking in it for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Well, you're recording the stream. Why not?
Actually, I am. Yeah. What the heck?
You don't even have to sync it up with the video.
We don't even have to. Yeah, that's right. Anyway.
Brilliant business decision thought up on live on Retsu Talk.
Fucking, let's start that Kickstarter.
My God, wait till the board of directors hears about this. The board of directors being people who donated $1 to our Kickstarter for Retsu Prey.
Oh, God. Anyway.
Was there anything else to bring up?
Chad, is there anything you want to talk about? Oh, Madison's like, honestly, do you guys cut anything out of podcasts? Yeah, we cut the whole last podcast. Retsu Talk 50, is this 56? Supposed to go up last week, but we didn't like it.
Yep, we cut the whole thing.
Yeah, and actually, we have had a couple guests who've accidentally revealed something that they shouldn't have that we had to edit.
Yeah, or we brought up something that they didn't want brought up, so we're like, oh yeah, we'll cut that out, no big deal.
Don't tell them that part. Journalistic integrity. No, we have no integrity.
I cut out a laugh track that I added once to a podcast, thinking it was a good idea. And Slow Beef demanded I remove it.
WTF am I doing, adding a laugh track to this? What a guy. No.
And here's a little bit of shop talk. If you've ever thought, there aren't that many awkward silences on Retsu Talk, I remove them. Huh?
Is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
If there's any like large gaps where nothing's happening, if I sense it's awkward, I'll be like, ooh, no.
So, like, if we go 10 minutes without speaking, basically nobody hears that. Got it.
If I think the silence makes for good, like, comedic timing in some way, then I'll leave it. That's it. I've become an audio master that way.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I'll, like, silence coughs or hiccups or swears. Gotta keep this PG, you know. Farts. No, I keep all the farts.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I would.
There you go.
There's I go. All right.
Anything else, chat?
Let's not end with them because they're gonna have us talk for another 3 hours, and I'm okay with that personally. But
sure,
no. Why not? I'm not finishing Volgar the Viking. Oh, you know what? I do have something to bring up, kind of.
Okay, what are you bringing to the table?
That's exactly it. The Let's Play Sandcastle.
Oh.
AKA the monster I created.
Congratulations.
Thanks. No,
are you the OP of the Sandcastle?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
That's Baldur.
That's right.
It was me, then Schizo Guy, then Baldur. And the Let's Play Castle used to be the Let's Play Sandbox. It's true. That's the original name of it.
Should it evolve anywhere else? Sand Fortress?
I thought about that, but no. No. Well, so we had a poster come in. He did the whole I didn't work kind of thing. Giop gave him a mod challenge, which was to do chess somehow. He did it, apparently, and didn't even do a bad job of it or anything. So we were like, okay, you got a free forum stay.
You're into the club.
Come on in. But then he posted a scare cam Let's Play, and it was kind of just all baby talk, wacky talk kind of shit, you know?
Sure.
So people gave him shit for it. So the thing about that then is, like, apparently someone went to his YouTube channel and he'd put up part 2 and not shown us, and apparently it was actually pretty good, part 2, you know?
Despite face cam and everything?
Yeah, but then people started arguing, is it stupid that we're just like, no face cam whatsoever, you know? Well, is it?
Well, I do think it is poor form to decree something to not need to exist just because of what it is in the first place.
You mean like it's silly to make it an automatic kind of rule?
Yeah, exactly. Like no exceptions ever.
Yeah, and the thing is, you have to remember there is no rule right?
Right, exactly.
To start with.
I think there is an association people place like, oh, that's a YouTube thing that came from YouTube, so don't bring it out of my house.
Right. I'm wondering if there is a way to go about it, because I'll be honest, I really do think pretty much all scare cams, I shouldn't say, I mean, not all, not every single one, but I do think, like, most of them are pretty crappy and make no sense.
I've never seen one where I thought, oh, it's a good thing that was there.
Right. It's the only time it really works is if there is very hammy overacting, like someone pretending to be scared at the game. But maybe if, okay, this is my proposal, right? And let's say to be safe, you did that. It's a little hard to do this with the chat too. And you record yourself. What if you only used the scare cam for parts that were actually funny?
So you like fade it in and out?
Yeah, bring it in or out, whenever. Because, like, because that's kind of, I was going to say it's kind of like the angry video game nerd dude, in a way. Because he has that sort of, but, I mean, I know that's all, like, kind of an act. Or, like, a sketch, really, you know what I mean? But it's at least, like, kind of effortful, and it doesn't block the whole fucking game for, like, the entirety there. Because most scare cams are just, like, you're watching a dude at a 45-degree angle kind of do nothing. Except talk, It doesn't add anything, it doesn't do anything. But maybe if you limit it to some extent, it's less obnoxious. I don't know, I'm just spitballing.
Blister did something kind of neat with the concept once. Blister's, who was one of my favorite people, used like a green screen where he had, I think it was BioShock on the screen, and then his whole self would come in and point things out on the screen.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of neat.
Yeah,
they are a little odd. It seemed like it had some potential, maybe, like he was a meteorologist.
Right. Yeah. No. They've done the green screen thing before, right? I have seen green screen scare cams. That's not like Blister's. I think the first person to ever do that, and he only did it once. Is like that kind of gimmicky sort of thing.
Yeah, it was a joke kind of thing, but it did make me wonder. Like, I wonder if you could do anything cool with that.
I'm thinking it's possible to do it. It's just not in the way we've seen before. And that's where things get tough. The one whatever. But PewDiePie did a scare cam with the Kinect, which, like, at least there I'm like, that makes a lot of sense because it's all because
your whole body is the controller in the first place, so...
Yeah. Like, at least, like, there I'm like, I totally get, And a Wiimote I could maybe kind of see, but probably not as much. You know what I mean?
Well, there goes my Galaxy video.
But of course, the problem with a Kinect, like, that's like a body cam, and then you're covering most of the game altogether, which is
right.
Is right. But again, if you go into a fade in, fade out kind of thing, maybe that could work. I don't know. It's just like, I do agree with this whole. Somebody had a really cool, or maybe not cool is not the right word, but someone had a good idea with it. But I'm gonna leave it in case somebody wants to do it. But it's like something along the lines of Metal Gear with face cams that could totally work.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, I think the central problem with the face cam is pretty much what you just said. Like it inherently takes away from the game, like the screen real estate of the game, which is important because it could be covering up something very important on the screen you might want to see, or otherwise it's just distracting.
But that's like the thing too. It's like, yeah, exactly. It's just, and it's sometimes it's very distracting. And again, it'd be more forgivable, I think, if the LPer were emotive the whole time, but typically they're not, Yeah,
they just stare ahead.
Right. The only time it works is when it's not really a Let's Play altogether, when it's like the PewDiePie show, the Toby Turner show, the whatever. Right. You know what I mean? Like, nothing, I'm just saying, like, their stuff is, like, really less about, here's, like, a video game, and it is kind of like, here's my show.
Like, what wacky shit am I going to do next?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, that's kind of where I'm going with that.
Yeah. So is that what people are trying to do, then, who just put up a face cam, but they're not even really doing that wacky stuff? They're just looking? Like, I don't get what they think they're adding by that. Like, is it just like, oh, everyone else is doing it, I guess I need to be doing that too?
I think it is really, sincerely a case of just like...
Monkey see, monkey do?
Yeah. It's like, I like this Let's Play thing that I've seen other people do. They added scare cams, I guess I will too. That rhymed. Yeah, that's actually that is what I think it is. Because, yeah, people are like, well, why wouldn't you show yourself? You're a major character. The video wouldn't exist without me. I'm great. You know, that kind of deal. So,
Mhm.
And plus, like, a lot of scare cams just aren't done in, like, there's interesting ones where people play, like, a game with a 4:3 aspect ratio. I mean, the problem there is, like, the scare cam, it kind of doesn't fit quite right, you know? Like, it's better than blocking the screen, you know?
Okay.
But, like, so they'll add, well, like that guy we did, Sean Klitzner, you know?
Which guy was he?
He was the guy with the Mega Man hat who played Mega Man
yeah.
X with the scare cam. He was the one who, like, yeah, please use my stuff. It's so fun.
Right. No.
Yeah. But, that's the thing, though. He had to add those links to, like, his daily vlogs and everything to sort of pad out the missing part. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. So what were they?
They were the daily vlogs!
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and I mean, too, at least he's, like, trying, and, you know, it looks better than just black space, you know? And with a 16:9 game, there is, like, the notion of, well, now I have nowhere to put my shit because it's already widescreen, so what do you do? Well, anyway, that's my proposal.
Interesting solution.
Yeah. What's that?
Oh, just interesting way to solve that problem.
Oh, okay.
I'll dress up in a Mega Man costume.
Oh, yeah, there.
That's the first thing that came to my head.
And he's not the only one who does things like that either.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very interesting thing that way.
What about the the co-optional podcast style of things? Like, not even where there's a game, just doing a podcast and you see the people talking. Does that add?
I mean, that's a little more defensible because you are there for them.
Right, yeah, there's no game or anything.
Right. So, yeah, like, you could make it, well, you know, alright, I'll tell you one thing, though. SA is very specifically, against, like, what they perceive as attention whoring. Mm-hmm. Even though I don't think scare cams or being on camera are necessarily that. But I remember, like, during the first Retsupre thread, one guy, like, had some thing, like, on YouTube, I mean, like, when he was, like, you know, he did some ridiculous video he made where he was wearing a mask and talking to us.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah, it was actually a First Aid Kite.
Oh, it was?
But, yeah, it was. Huh. I made a response video where I had a bag on my head, and, like, Scarboy was like, don't post that. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of attention whory. And I'm like, you can't even see me. Like, what the, you know. But I didn't think it was, but. So that is, they do kind of have a thing against cams in general, you know? But, sure. I mean, at this point with Let's Play too, like, a lot of people on SA just don't like Let's Play to begin with, you know? So it's like, who are you trying to impress at that point?
Right.
So I don't know. Again, it's one of those things, I wouldn't, you know, as much as I don't like them, I wouldn't rule them out altogether. And there is a sort of interesting thing, which I had mentioned on one podcast, where Occultatio, I think, or his friend wanted to do XCOM with scare cams, where it was like team play. So it's kind of like a Meta Goon type of thing, I guess, you know? And it seemed like his setup wasn't too obtrusive or anything. So I might have been interested to see that, but it got kind of shot down. So I don't know, you know?
So, like, the idea, like, they're talking strategy to each other, trying to coordinate, you see them doing that?
Yeah, I guess so. Or maybe it's almost like a game show setup where you see everybody playing, and as long as they're not blocking the screen, it could be kind of interesting in that way, you know?
It could have potential, I would have to, I guess, see it to know for sure, but it maybe have potential.
And RSC Nick says, to be fair, that video might not be an LP. And that's very true. But that doesn't mean it doesn't belong in LP, the forum.
Yeah.
And to be frank, like, you know, that is like how fun stuff gets created, is when you, like, kind of don't always follow the rules, you know? Just saying. And also that's where shit gets created too, but still, you know. You gotta take risks sometimes, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Did we solve all of Let's Play's problems?
As always. And I guess we'll just be here until next time when Let's Play has even more problems for us to solve,
and believe me, we will solve them.
Absolutely.
We have all the answers.
Yep.
You just don't know it yet.
Yep. Agreed. Well, I guess that's probably everything, right?
I think we covered some good topics. Did you guys enjoy it, Chad, or should we discard this altogether? Should we keep this just between us?
Sandcastle saved. I agree.
Damn.
Axical, you made it, you fixed it, Beef. No, I am not a fan of Leave It Better Than You Found It. So forget that. Any dead to rights, I suppose?
Dead to rights, I suppose.